Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another Left 4 Dead 2 ranking video. And today's ranking video, we're going to be ranking all of the console commands that are in Left 4 Dead 2, and damn, it feels good to say that again. Welcome back everybody to another ranking video. It's been a minute. The main reason why it's taken so long for this episode to come out, my friends, is just also why the episodes have been more sparse for the ranking series in general, is just because I was kind of starting to get to the point where I felt like I was actually running out of things to rank, just because we have ranked a good majority of the things in Left 4 Dead. But I knew that there was still some stuff left to rank, so I wanted to just come up with some ideas. So luckily, with the help of time and also you guys, I was able to come up with some more ideas for stuff to rank in the future. So be on the lookout for those. I'm really looking forward to making more episodes in the series again. But yeah, guys, we are going to be ranking console commands for this episode. So console commands, what are they? Because not everyone will know what these are because this is exclusive to the PC version of the game. So for Xbox players, if you don't know what console commands are, let me explain them to you really briefly. Essentially, these are just a glorified version of cheat codes. If you go into the settings of Left 4 Dead 2, you can turn on a thing called a developer console, which basically allows you, if you want to, just type in on your keyboard certain key phrases or certain quotes or certain, just things in general that will be able to make the game change. You can do anything such as God mode to unlimited ammo, which is pretty simplistic, to also some even more crazier ones, which we'll get onto later down in the list. Now, for the sake of keeping this list simple, instead of ranking stuff that is so bare bones and so boring that I feel like you guys will just tune out of the video, I'm actually just going to be bundling some things together, because I'm pretty sure you guys would rather not end up hearing me say, okay guys, for this particular console command, Ellis moves at 2 miles an hour, and then guess what? It's so thrilling. For the opposite effect of that, he goes at 1 mile an hour. Ooh. That, and also as well as I'm just not necessarily the biggest software person in the world, and I'm not really that tech savvy when it comes to like game creation and basically like game coding. I would be pretty much average, I would say. I've done some dabbling in it before in my free time, but I'm not going to be the type of guy that would be able to confidently say that I can tell you the difference between all these console commands and the reasons why. You ever have it where you have somebody that's trying to explain something and they have no idea what the hell they're talking about? Hello, thank you all for coming to my TED Talk. Today's TED Talk, we are going to be talking about paper. You see, paper, it's got a lot of fun facts about it. It's white, it's square, it's made of paper. So yeah, so at the end of the day, that is going to be basically my explanation and thoughts going into this. But now guys, finally, let's rank all console commands in Left 4 Dead 2 from worst to best. So for the first set of mods, this is what I'm going to be calling based off of what my mod menu calls it, which is going to be CVAR commands. Now, for CVAR commands, and then also all the following commands throughout later on the list are going to be based off of this mod menu that I got from Steam, which I can link down below in the description for you guys. These mods essentially are going to be the in-game functions of the Left 4 Dead game, but what they are is that they're more detailed. So instead of being able to just go into the game and doing stuff with, like, let's say the voting menu that you normally do, where you vote to like kick people and vote to change the maps and stuff like that, you can do things such as God mode. You can also end up making so that way you can be able to end up seeing things in like this weird blue 2D thing called Matrix mode, which basically allows you to see pretty much every single interactable thing in the entire game. Survivors, guns, special infected, dead bodies, everything. Now, apart from Matrix mode, you mostly only end up getting simplistic stuff in this category, such as friendly fire being on and off, the voting system being on and off. There really isn't any, like, substance to this. The way that they are kind of like laid out here, in my opinion, I think is really, really good, because the way that the mod menu I have is designed is basically meant to simplify, where they're all kind of like sectioned off in their own subcategories, and these mods do make sense about why they're here. They're essentially more detailed versions of the in-game settings that we already have, and then a couple of extra bonus ones. Like, for example, I mean, how thrilling would it be for you to know that you can end up making the contrast of the map brighter to the point where you can basically be blind? These particular console commands are definitely very useful. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure that someone somewhere is going to be saying that, oh, but dude, this is my favorite console command, and that's fine. I completely understand that. But now more than ever, especially with this particular list, as we niche down to more specific Left 4 Dead things to rank, I feel like it's going to be more specifically based off of my opinion, just because I believe is that the opinions of everyone else that's going to be in this area is going to be so niche and so narrowed down that's going to be kind of hard to say it's vouching for everybody as a whole, you know what I mean? Now we're going to be moving on to a set of commands that is just labeled as extras according to the guy that ended up making this mod menu, but in my humble opinion, I believe that they're more than just extra commands. I believe that they actually have a little bit more novelty than the other ones that I previously listed. So I'm actually going to give them a new name and call them cheat code commands because it's kind of what they feel like in the sense that they're basically traditional cheat codes. So for these console commands, they actually allow you to be able to do some pretty interesting things, such as start and stop the director, which is extremely useful. Then you also have normal motion, slow motion, and fast motion. This basically means that if you want to, you can change the speed of the survivors and yourself. You can either end up going at the speed of the Flash, or you can end up being as slow as a turtle. You can also be able to do some things such as spawning in fire. You can literally just spawn in fire. You can also spawn in spit or spit, which is really, really cool if you want to be able to, I guess, like, troll your buddies if you actually manage to get a local server and do cooperative mode, where you end up making so that way you can use the mods on them. You can end up adding in more fog than normal. You can get rid of the fog entirely. You can reset the whole entire campaign. You can end up having the final start. You can end up having it where the rescue comes to get you. And you can even finish the map and be able to, like, mess around with the map that you're on itself. And now you guys see why I sort of rank these a little bit lower, but also as in bundles, just because, like, these are basically in-game settings with just a little bit of pizzazz. Okay, now we have got weapon commands. Now, for weapon commands, in my humble opinion, this is not as cool as I thought it was going to be. It basically just makes you overpowered. That's really all that this serves. Now, if you wanted to, originally, this was more useful, because back in the day, before the Last Stand update, you could use this menu to be able to spawn in a lot of the Last Stand guns. And you could still sort of spawn in, like, guns that technically don't exist. There is plenty of them in the game, don't get me wrong. But the main ones, in my opinion, worth noting, were put in with the Last Stand update, which basically takes us down significantly so, in my opinion, and that's fine. But really the only weapons, because I understand that there is extra weapons in here that you could still spawn in. There is plenty of, you know, cut weapons and console command weapons you can spawn in. But they're not really as noteworthy. They're things like the riot shield, which is just pretty bare bones. I mean, like, that you can always end up getting actually with, like, a mod. You don't even necessarily need to use the console commands to do that, which both the mod and the console commands are only available on the PC port anyways, so you might as well just get the easier one, which is the Steam mod. Don't get me wrong, it's very fun to be able to spawn in whatever gun you want, the amount of guns you want, give it every single upgrade possible and stuff like that. I really do like that idea, and it is definitely convenient to spawn in the guns you want, when you want them, and how you want them, but it's not something that I can't just do in the normal game. When I'm thinking of console commands and cheat codes, I'm thinking of stuff that I wouldn't be able to do without these things. Like, I can get the guns eventually maximum if I wanted to. I can get a laser sight and incendiary ammo for my favorite guns whenever I want. I just have to look for them. But a console command, I want to be able to do something really cool and really unique, which is why I just have to put the weapon commands lower, because sure, it's nice to spawn in the weapons, and you can even do things like equipment, like med kits and pain pills and bio bombs and molotovs and pipe bombs, but that's just all stuff in the game, and all you're doing is just putting in your inventory. Now we have got warp commands. These are more unique because with warp commands, you are essentially being able to make it where you can teleport wherever you please and teleporting the bots and other players wherever you please. So you are actually able to control the game to the point where you can control where everyone goes. You don't have to be confined to the areas that are within the map. You don't even necessarily need to be confined with boundaries. This is kind of like a way of using no-clip without being able to just like move around with your WASD. You're more than rather just kind of putting your cursor on something and putting them in there. Kind of if you were just playing like a 2D side-scroller and you're choosing where you're putting your AI and you're like pathing for things. That's kind of the way I see this. It is a little bit more detailed than that, but that's just kind of the way I personally look at it. This is really nothing more than just saying, hey, go over here, versus hey, being over here. This command is very useful for the bots. But other than the bots, this really doesn't serve you, because if you're going to be doing this for essentially yourself, at that point you might as well just use no-clip. Okay, now we have got the survivor commands. Now, what do I mean by survivor commands? Well, when I mean survivor commands, I basically mean any command that is related to the bot AI. Because when it comes to the bot AI, I don't know if you guys have, like, caught up to speed by now, but they don't listen for shit. So, I would have an easier time trying to teach Patrick Star how to do something with a head injury and Alzheimer's than I would with the bots in Left 4 Dead. They just don't listen to me sometimes. So, when it comes to the bots in Left 4 Dead, it's cool that there's actually a way I can basically force them to do what I need them to do. If I'm like, hey, you know, Coach, I need you to stand over here, or hey, Rochelle, I need you to be able to use this particular gun, or hey, Nick, stand still for me while I do this. That is so useful, because sometimes I just can't get people online to help me out with things such as Myth-Busting Mondays, and it's nice that I can just be able to do this to the bots by just using console commands. There's been plenty of times where I've actually done this, and this has actually saved my butt for filming videos. So some of my favorite personal console commands within this list is going to end up being kicking the bots, being able to kill the bots, being able to end up, like, reviving the bots, like, without necessarily needing a defib. I love those because it's so useful when I need them to, like, be out of my way, and the only thing I can do is kick them so that way they don't shoot. Or also make it so that way if I want to, I can be able to have it where I can, like, kill them to be able to test things with, like, defibs, or being able to, like, respawn them in case I need them alive now for a purpose now that I've, like, gotten done killing them. Now, within these survivor commands, there's actually kind of like two subcategories, which are going to be called torture and fun commands. And I was curious initially when I first got this mod, I'm like, what are these? And basically what the guy did is that he showed some commands that are essentially meant to screw with the AI. And those are, and some of my favorites are in here, which is like freezing the bots so that way they can't move, that way they're just stuck in place. So like, let's say I need them to be attacked by something, rather than defending themselves, they'll just let the charger or the hunter or something like that hit them. I also enjoy where there's like some console commands in here that make it where you can actually add and remove their HP or incapacitate them, so that way if I need to be able to judge something based off their health, I can do that. I can even do things such as being able to like slap them around. There's like a one that almost has like a melee shove effect. Like when you do this to the special infected, you can actually be able to just like hit a hotkey, and then the survivors will just suddenly start twitching and just shoving themselves back even though nothing's happening. You can even do things such as spawn in extra bots. You can spawn in the passing survivors with the Left 4 Dead 1 crew, but you can just spawn in like a crap ton of Ellis's, Rochelle's, Coach, and Nick's. You can just be able to have like a whole entire army of AI with you. Just make sure that you're very careful, though, and that you don't, like, for example, kill some of the AI all in a giant pile next to the other ones, because otherwise they may or may not freak out and start talking, and they end up sounding like they're possessed by demons.
I'm with you.
Now, my friends, we move on to the special infected commands. Now, for the special infected commands, I think that this is one of the best commands in the game, just because it's so nice to be able to control the infected in this game, because the infected are a critical part about what makes Left 4 Dead Left 4 Dead. Because if Left 4 Dead just had only the common zombies, I feel like it wouldn't be the same. It would feel hollow. So it's cool if I want to, by my own choice, be able to spawn in certain special infected. If I want to be able to face up against 10 tanks all at once, if I want to be able to face up against 30 witches at once, why can't I? You know what I mean? Like, it's so cool to be able to make it where I can choose my own battles. In fact, I would like the idea that I can imagine a future scenario where I might even make my own mini-game based off of console commands if I ever get good enough and can understand things. Hell, I might even make my own custom map one day. Who really knows? Like, you know, the future can end up being surprising sometimes. But anyways, basically, long story short, I think that these are honestly the most well-rounded console commands, honestly, in the game. Because it's cool that you can be able to control the infected, which ones spawn in, how many of them spawn in. You can kill them if you want. You can end up shoving them if you want. You can even do things such as make boomer vomit effects apply onto them, which I don't think you can do in the normal game at all. Like, I mean, you can do it with a boomer bile, but, like, it's really, really cool to be able to make it so that way you can have the infected basically do anything for you. It's really good for testing. Now, guys, this isn't the end of the list quite yet. We do have one more set of console commands that I want to put at number 1. And these, my friends, are going to be ones that help the community. And this is honestly, I think, the main focal point about why Left 4 Dead is even still relevant in the first place, because this actually contributes to content creation. My friends, this is going to end up being admin commands. These are basically commands that allow you to be able to create maps and basically changed the environment as a whole in Left 4 Dead. And the reason why that, in my opinion, these are the most important mods is because they literally are the lifeblood of Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead would not be the game it is if it didn't have console commands and also just mod support and just devs in general from the community making stuff for the game. If the game was like it was in Left 4 Dead 1, where you could end up having some mods but you have to use third parties, it wouldn't be nearly as big, and it would even be less big if it just didn't have that at all. Like, Left 4 Dead is definitely a good game, don't get me wrong, but the lifeblood, the like, main force behind the game is the fact that there's people wanting to keep it alive. People won't Left 4 Dead be Left 4 Dead, literally. Like, people keep making content on this game. That's how we even got the Last Stand update in the entire first place. We, as the community, made the update we've been wanting this entire time by Valve. And that's saying something. That's really damn cool. And it wouldn't be possible if these mods and these console commands just didn't exist, because without them, the game would be hollow. It would feel like it's missing something, and that's why I'm putting them at number 1 here. It's so cool that if I want to, I can be able to spawn in ramps, or like street pulls, or like even things such as the Swamp Fever Fairy, of all things. See, the cool thing about these console commands is that they're not just going to end up being one particular thing, because by themselves, they're just like items. You're spawning in a street pull or something, and it's just like, oh, what's so significant about a street pull, or like a ramp or something like that? What it is that it's your creativity. It's what SpongeBob would say is your imagination. You gotta be creative with it. You're basically making your own fun here with these, and that's why I like them, is because it brings back that childhood essence of imagination. And it's funny, I don't know if you guys will be old enough to remember this, but if you are, I'm curious, let me know in the comments down below. But if you guys are old enough to remember this, do you guys remember when you would go to CartoonNetwork.com as a kid? And on CartoonNetwork.com, they would have this series of games called the Cartoon Network Game Creator games. And basically what they would be is that they would be these 2D side-scrollers themed after things such as Ben 10 and Star Wars and all these other Cartoon Network shows. And you would basically make your own 2D side-scroller games. You would end up having a character, and you would have to like try to get them from one destination to the other, similar to Mario. And you would place your own bad guys, and you end up having teleporters, and you could collect gems and all these other cool things. And that was my very first, like, not only like entry to game creation, but just gaming in general. My earliest childhood memories is creating games on things like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and Disney.com. And I don't even know if those things are, like, up anymore. I don't even know if those things are alive. But if you ever have a chance, just look those up. It's a really cool concept. I think you guys will get a big kick out of it. And if you are an oldie like me and you're in your 20s and you would know these, look it up for old time's sake. I think you'll get a big kick out of it because it's from like the early 2000s. And, dude, that's just basically what the Left 4 Dead console commands remind me of. It takes me back to when I was young and basically relives a childhood memory. So that's honestly pretty cool. It's a little bit for nostalgia purposes, slash also the fact is that I know it's probably going to be the same for a lot of others as well, where basically the best content is the ones that you make yourself. So, my friends, at the end of the day, when all is said and done, this is going to be ranking all the console commands in Left 4 Dead 2 from worst to best. If you guys want to check out any of the prior episodes, such as ranking all the Left 4 Dead cutscenes, which was the last episode I made, then definitely check that out. I got plenty of them. I got ranking survivors, special infected, weapons, tons and tons of stuff. I think you guys will definitely get a big kick out of it. Also, stay tuned for future episodes, because now with the help, like I said, once again, you guys, and also just time passing by, I have got some more ranking videos coming in the future. So that'll be really, really cool. We can just keep this up just a little bit longer, and the episodes should hopefully also be more frequently. But yeah, guys, I hope you end up enjoying today's video. If you guys would like to financially support the channel, I would tremendously appreciate if you guys could go check my Patreon. It's always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions, or you guys could use supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite Epic Games item shops, because Epic is my very first sponsor, and they're sponsoring today's video, so shout out to Epic Games. Anyways, guys, I hope you end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTubers we're ever going to see. Thank you for watching, guys. I love ya, and peace out.
Hey meme lords, Jesus here, and you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too, and give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!